Just doing a quick install on the Quadlock chargeable head. This is the hardwired version that I've opted for instead of the USB. So it will come as so. In the instructions it says that all this has to be sourced yourself. So hop down Alfred's, get yourself an inline fuse holder, 3 amp fuse, optional toggle switch. Then I'm going to use some tape, some pliers, some connectors and some heat shrink. Right, the first thing you got to do is work out where you want it, where you're going to run the wires and where you want your switch and your battery. So I'm going to expose all that and then back with you. Okay, so I've got access to my battery now, where I want to place my switch, and I've also undone my tank just so I've got a little bit of play lifting that up to hide the wires. Before I start installing, I'm going to just throw my stem fork mount on. If you've already got a mount, don't worry about this, you can skip it. But I'm going to get for the pro mount now. Real simple, place it in where you want it, tighten that Allen key. If your fork stem is extremely wide, you've also got an adapter. You just take that off, take this off, swap the spacers and put it back on. Mine you don't need to, so I'm just going to tighten that up and I'll get back to you. Right, once that's fully tightened, you can fix it to where you want to. Sorry, the lighting's crap. And put the head on now. Alright, just like that, your Quadlock Pro is done. But that was kind of pointless for me, because obviously I'm installing the wireless damper and charger. So I just want to show you how it's done. I'm going to take this head back off and install my dampener. Right, so the head's off. First step, place the dampener on, put your Allen key through this hole to screw in this bolt. Back in a sec. That was real simple. Last step, get your charger, place onto the top, bolt it in, and then we'll start with the wiring. And it's in. Now this step I'm going to have to stop recording so I can put my phone on the case and just work out where I want it stationary all times. Obviously once I've found my optimal point, I'll tighten these 2 bolts there, and then I can run the wire without having to worry about it changing again later on. So once I've found out where I want to put the phone, I'll be back. Right, after 5 minutes of deciding, I switch this 180 degrees, tighten these to this frame, just because I wanted my phone lower and further back, but obviously you can change it up, right, left, right, but I wanted mine quite low back. Now I've tightened everything, I can play with this wire without it changing. So what I'm going to do is lift my tank, wrap it round, bring it towards the battery, and then we'll talk about wiring. Right, we should be all mounted now. Run our wire towards our battery, and this is where we should take on what we need to do. It says 3 amp rated fuse, a switch. So I've got my 3 amp fuse, inline fuse holder and a switch, but I think that can be optional. The negative can go straight to battery terminal, but this is where the wire is going to happen. So what I'm going to do is have a play around with my bike, see how much cable I've got, see where I want to put the switch, and I'll get back to you. Right, behind my seat I've got this plastic insert, which I think would be an ideal place to put my switch. It's quite close to the battery. I can tap into this plastic without causing no damage to the frame or the fairings, and I think that's where I'm going to choose to do it. It's going to be accessible at all times. Sweet. Right guys, been about 10-15 minutes, I'm back now. So just to liberate, we're going to go from the charging station, hide your wires, and then you cut into your negative, split off so that can go straight to your terminal. About to plug that in. Your positive, I'm going up to a switch, and that switch wire goes into my fused wire and then into my terminal to the wire. I'm going to plug these in and check it works. If it's all happy, I'll heat shrink everything, tidy it up, cable tie it. I'll know if it's right because the blinking light should get to a solid red light. And yeah, just to double check the clearance when you do yours, make sure you're not touching anything, because although it's sturdy, when you're going down the road you don't want it to scratch all your paintwork. Right, moment of truth. All connected up, obviously, that's all that. Fingers crossed. Switch the switch on. Flashing light and solid. So I'm just gonna double check everything's tidy, everything's tight. But that's what you want it to be. You want it to be solid. And then optional to switch it off. That's off. Perfect. See it's charging. I can turn the switch off. The charging.